Listen, folks, they definitely don't make them like this anymore. Two legends going face-to-face here on Saturday night, Cerrone versus Lauzon. Cerrone debuted in the UFC in 2011, Joe Lauzon in 2006, but look at 38 fights for Cowboy, 28 fights for Joe Lauzon. These guys have incredible stats, but Dean, what do you think the significance is of these two meeting up at this point in their career? Because it's weird, you look over all the stuff, you're like, how did they not fight yet?
Well, I think that is the significance. Just when you look at their career, you're like, how did these two guys never fight? I mean, they've been around each other. They've probably been on the same cards a dozen times, probably even more than that, but they've just never fought before. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out now at this stage in their career, because both of them are, in my opinion, are at different stages in their career.
Listen, Joe Lauzon was on the card at the first UFC event I ever went to in person in like 2008. It's shocking that I'm standing here right now at this desk and he's still fighting in co-main events in fights, in my opinion, that are extremely significant. This is an important fight for both guys.
Well, I do believe we have some shots of Cowboy arriving here, and let's talk about that significance of the fight. Why do you think these fights are so important now, knowing that, is it because maybe it's one of the last few times we'll see them?
I think so. As their careers wind down, I don't think it's about fighting these up-and-comers and letting other people build their names off of them. I think it's about fights that are important to their legacy and what means a lot to them. The fact that we almost didn't get Joe Lauzon versus Donald Cerrone would have been a shame, especially, as the fight fell out the last time they were supposed to fight. I think this is really important for both these guys' legacies.
Well, my question to you, though, Dean, who do you think has the advantage if they are in the later stages and they are different fighters? Who now has the advantage?
I think Joe Lauzon does. I mean, when you look at his last fight against Jonathan Pierce, he went up against a young up-and-coming guy, and I know he had to be worried, and he starched that guy. He torched him. But for Donald Cerrone, he's got to right those wrongs. His last couple fights, he hasn't had a lot of luck. He's got an opportunity tonight to make it right. He's got his son here, and we know how important that is for him. You know how emotional he got with that. His son is here. He's got one last opportunity to make it right against a guy he probably should have fought 5 years ago.
I think everything with Cowboy is about how he feels and where his mentality is. And everything that I've seen all week long with his interviews tells me that he's in a good place, that he's motivated. Cowboy Cerrone needs a reason. I got the feeling all week long that he has a reason, and I think that that's what gives him the advantage. I think that he's a little bit of the larger fighter. I think he's the better striker. I think he does have an advantage just in the physicality, but also in the mental approach in this fight.
Okay, so Professor Beatdown, who dictates the pace of the fight then?
I think it's Cowboy. I really do. I think that Joe Lauzon needs a takedown to be successful in this fight, in my opinion. And Cowboy Cerrone's takedown defense and ground game is extremely underrated.
And I think that's where people make the mistake, is that they think Joe Lauzon needs that. I mean, let's face it, the boy looks like a nerd. And nobody is afraid of him. He show up and nobody's afraid of him. Yeah. And then he cracks you. And then that's when you panic. And that's when he takes you down to submit you. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, guys, we got your Corey Sandhagens are taking the mantle of the nerdy guy who can really crush people. I'm going to tell Joe Lauzon you said that.
Don't tell him that. Listen, I don't want no smoke with Joe Lauzon.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.